Hail, hello, welcome. Hail to all the heroes who sail the Whale Road. I'm Jackson from Campaign Coins, and this is Beowulf Age of Heroes Horror at Herrogate. As I say, we are Campaign Coins, and we do make campaign coins. We make real metal tokens that you can use to enhance your role-playing sessions, including some very fine metal tokens for Beowulf Age of Heroes, which you can see at campaigncoins.com/Beowulf. Do check us out. We're playing Beowulf Age of Heroes. What a name! That's why I like saying it so often. It's a terrific setting and rule set for D&D 5e, and it's designed for, where are they? I'm pointing in the right direction. It's designed for one GM and one player, and that's who we have tonight. So what else? We're listening to some supple sounds provided by Sirenscape, which you can is an online tool for adding sound and music to your role-playing games, and Sirenscape is bolstered by the official Beowulf Age of Heroes soundtrack, which is pretty rad. So with all that out of the way, I think we're ready to go to the Whale Road, upon which our hero sails. Here we go.
Listen, heroes sail the Whale Road, and they are needed. The Whale Road links us all, communities, enemies, lovers, friends, all ply their trade along there. But between the spaces and beyond the dark forests are monsters, and that is where we need heroes. And we have met already the hero of this story, Blaedswith, the Corellian witch who fought the sea demon people and slew them all in bloody tide. But also, with her wisdom, she sent the sea queen back to the depths to slumber, her vengeance sated, enough blood spilled. And so Blaedswith is followed so loyally by those who band with her, but they know there is a heavy portent upon her. Doom and death is her inheritance from the Sea Queen. She has seen in this vision of death an omen, a portent which has come into her mind. Woven woe, mended talisman. The woe chilled her as she heard it, but yet she is a hero and she knew what must be done. So she checked her lodestone and has sailed through calm seas. And then at a pitched battle with Danish Vikings, she sent their captain down to the bottom of the ocean, his blood feeding the sharks, and nearly followed, but by some strange moment of faith was thrown back up onto her own deck. But now she and the crew sail onwards. Blaedswith, okay, Alex, how's Blaedswith feeling upon the deck as you're starting to see the gulls and you know the shore is close?
Serene and hopeful, knowing that what has driven me here is a terrible omen. However, I have my followers with me, and although we cannot stop the tides of fate, we can certainly dam them, at least for a time. And that's what I hope we can do here.
Optimism and pragmatism, a thinking hero. Let's just talk about Beowulf Age of Heroes, the game we're playing by Games and Handiwork. It's for one GM and one player, of course. And the way you get to kick ass is you get a whole bag full of hit points. How many hit points do you have there?
I have quite a lot of hit points here.
Not enough.
Well, I have 30 total, but that's not what I have.
All right, that's it.
Because we've been fighting.
You have. But actually, you've been at sea for a couple of days, so you've had a long rest. It is, after all, D&D, so you've had a long rest. Your healing pool is replenished. Your hit points are replenished. But there is a portent upon you. First of all, you have inspiration. You've been carrying that from the encounter with the Sea Queen. The portent was woven woe. Weaving is what we do as a community to make the sails for the ships. So that is, you can spend that on your followers. I think of blue. Then woe, however, that is what monsters bring. They bring woe and death. Mended talisman. Mending, again, it's something we do as a community. but a talisman, only a hero would be strong enough to bear that. So this is all the inspiration tokens designed by Paul Byrne, lovely, that you can spend at any time, but you've got one in the hopper. And just a quick rule reminder when we play Beowulf, and hopefully you can hear the bellowing of a fell beast outside. It's not a wolf, it's actually kind of a schnauzer cross. All right. You roll 2 dice. One of them is your normal dice, and the other is the dice you dedicate to the old faith. So it's advantage like normal, but if you choose your old faith as that's the die I'm going to choose, your inspiration comes right back for free. How good is that? It's like inspiration all the time. So there you go. That is your portent. That is the inspiration. There you are. Now I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to talk about where you sailed from. Okay. You are from Karelia, which is up near Finland and Russia, as we know it. So you have sailed down through the Baltic, where I think probably up here is where you rid the coast of the sea demons, debased and terrible people. Down here in the Baltic is where you met the Sea Queen, the orca, the size of a whale. I mean, okay, it's a whale, size of a sperm whale. It was big. And then down through at around Jutland. And this, of course, is where you ran into the Danish Vikings because it's Denmark. I mean, it's their waters, really. And so on.
Now.
Your lodestone has carried you around and then up the coast of Norway. You just have this sense that the wind is taking you. And with this calmness that you have described, you are now approaching land. Do you think you're approaching it? What time of day, Blaedswith, do you think you've arrived?
I think the winds would have brought us here right at dawn, as the sun just begins to rise.
Then all of your followers take great hope at that. Even Gita, the outcast wanted for murder, cracks a smile. Simo is, of course, hanging upside down off the mast as usual, par for the course for them. And Maida is really looking forward to landing because she gets a little bit kind of tense on boats. And Heike and Annika, however, they're rowing with the crew and looking somewhat grim because they know that this is not a visit. So on you go. As you are sailing, it's a long green coast, and in the distance you can see a small settlement in a sheltered bay. So I think Jackson, who's the keeper of all the digital stuff, can show us that kind of overhead map of the coast, which, funnily enough, who can't see it? Alex.
Oh, well.
That's well arranged. So there it is, like thus. Yeah, thus she blows. All right, Jackson's got it up.
I can see it. There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. I just need to give him more notice. So on through the, there's a sheltered bay. You can see snow-covered mountains up behind. And there's kind of thick fog drifting down, probably just starting to clear now as you're coming in through dawn. So there is the distant view of a small village. As the fog is lifting, the dawn is coming, but it is a very cold dawn, and there is a chill upon the wind because of this fog, which perhaps should have lifted sooner for this time of year. It's definitely hanging low. And as you are traveling into that sheltered bay, it seems far too quiet. Your longboat knifing through the water, it almost seems like the only sound in the world.
People should be up and tending to their fields and their farms, animals and their stock at this hour. Have your blades at the bear. This is not right.
All right. So Annika was already there.
Well, yes, she always is. She usually is.
She's ready for it. But they hear that. Of course, there's about 35 people on your ship, the Thule. 30 of them are crew. They're the people doing the rowing, and 5 of them are the followers. They're your particular sub-heroes, demi-heroes,
Demi-heroes.
mates. So they are indeed at the ready. As you get closer in and closer in, you can see that there are longhouses made of wattle with thatched roofs. They're timber framed. But all of the homes along the waterfront seem damaged, and you see some evidence that some roofs have collapsed, as though there was a recent fire. And there really is nobody about.
Are there any buildings that look particularly that look like they may have been spared or look like they might still provide shelter?
Yes, it just seems down close to the shoreline. That is where they seem most damaged. But you can see that there is the hall, the meat hall, which is where you expect to find the leader here, where the people will gather as a community. That still looks stout. So yeah,
that will be where I make a beeline towards once we beach the boats.
All right. So there, I think we have a top-down map of this. Beautiful art as always in the Games Handiwork productions. I cannot recommend them enough. Download Hermit Sanctuary. It's a free download. It's got the whole quick start rules in it. So so that's the coastal map. And there is the, just ignore the numbers. Don't you worry yourself about what those numbers might mean. I had to do some mad photoshopping to hide the actual, what it is.
Names,
But you can see that there are buildings down along the shoreline, that there are 2 docks, but there are just some small fishing boats tied up on the docks. But nobody about. So you can definitely bring your boat right up to a dock.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay. Let's have the description, the moment, the cinematic moment, as your ship comes into dock. The crew they're doing just the work, the business of getting it attached. But let's see how Blaedswith steps up.
It's almost before the boat even reaches the dock. She's right at the prow, and as soon as it's within stepping distance, she takes a single long stride onto the dock. So she's walked from the back of the boat, past all of her followers, encouraging them to come along with her, and just continues without breaking stride onto the dock as the sun rises behind her. And she sets her sights on the mead hall, which is appearing to be less damaged, and hopefully there will be some people there who can explain perhaps what these ill omens have brought to these shores.
All right, so that's a fantastic moment. I think it would be a shame if nobody was able to see this amazing vision of this hero doing this mighty step to the beach with the sun rising behind you. It's a fabulous omen. Let's just have a straight out charisma roll. Why not? Make a charisma check.
Sure.
I mean, it looks fabulous. I'm just wondering if anybody saw it.
If anybody actually saw it, well, Blaedswith is not necessarily about appearances. She's about the actions and the doing, and that's a 21.
Fantastic. All right, you are seen. So now that you're getting in close, as you lead, but your followers are there. You're setting your sights. I presume you're docking on the left-hand dock there. And just get that map back, Jackson. There she blows. And there's the main path leads right to that long hall, which is where you plan to go.
Much a straight shot.
I'm going to tell you what building number 2 is now, because
I will pass it.
I know you pass, but somebody sees you from there. It is a blacksmith's, and there is a tall man with curly hair, and he has just emerged quite cautiously, like he kind of looks around, and he seems quite and he was about to go and start stoking his fire when he just sees you, like smooth, amazing motion. The boat glides in, you step, you're walking, the boat stopping as thump, 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 your followers hitting the beach. There's Annika, Gita, and Heike, kaboom, ready for action. Heike a little bit too keen because he always is. Annika being a bit more cautious. Gita just ready for violence. Maida, you notice that she always manages to step exactly behind Annika, uses her a bit of a shield. And Simo falls off the back of the boat. Huge splash. They'll be along at some point. This is actually a decision for you now to make. Your boat is moored. Are you going to leave any follower there and say, hey, you stay with the boat? Now, within Beowulf, you have a crew of 30, but they're just, they're just here to make the oars go. If you leave a follower there, it's going to give some sense of security for the Thule, and you will get an early warning. But you might need all your followers with you. So,
I am going to, as we approach the edges of the village, and I almost catch the blacksmith's gaze on us, I slow my pace and turn back towards Gita, and kind of catch her eye, and go close to her so the others can't really hear unless they're really trying, although we've been traveling together for a while, so we're all on the same page here pretty much, and say to Gita that I would be honored if you would stay with the boat and keep things in order there with the crew and maintain a weather eye on the horizon. We encountered some troubles on the way here, and I would hate for any of them to have followed us. And I'm also going to kind of shoot a meaningful look back towards the inhabited village, knowing what I do about Gita, that she is a wanted woman.
Indeed. Gita has an eye patch. Is this seems like this is not the first time it's happened. And you did notice that her jawline was very tight as the outcast, as she was like following you in, but like, do I know anybody here? And when you say this, she nods, the tension goes a little bit, and then she starts just kicking the crew from one end of the deck to the other.
Yeah.
All right.
And also as the carpenter, I know that I can trust that she will spend some time with the ship and making sure that any damage sustained on the journey will be taken care of.
That is entirely true. So, oh my goodness, we forgot all about this. Your boat was mashed. You fought with the Sea Queen. It was hit by an orca the size of a sperm whale. So she had got lots of work to do.
She's got a bit of work to do, which will help her continue to contribute while perhaps being in the town is not the best place for her.
Okay. Now, so this blacksmith very nearly drops his hammer on his foot as he sees you, and also now as you are stepping onto the beach, and it's kind of crunching, it's cold here, that fog is still lying low. You can see that not merely are some of the roofs have collapsed, they're uninhabitable, there's been fires. There's also like great kind of cuts in the wood as there has been battle here. People have been breaking into these houses. And there is you're attuned to it, Blaedswith. Death has been here. Death was here last night. Death lives among these people. This is an unhappy place.
That's where the winds brought us. I think I will approach the blacksmith first before the mead hall, and approach the smithy. Okay.
All right. So you approach him. So as described, he is tall. He's very broad and muscly. He has kind of dark, tight curls. Fantastic stash. There he is. He sees you and says, "Traveller, my name is Beau." He has to say his name now because it's right there under his sleeve. It's right there. It's right there. But
it's really hard not to call him Beau, and that would just be creepy.
But there he is, and you know that you were kind of like a miracle as you emerged from the fog like that. Welcome to Herrogate.
Hey, Bill. It pains me to say it, but you look like Herrogate has been through some troubles quite recently. Is everything okay?
If you seek timber for your boat and supplies, then I would take them and be on your way. Things are not okay.
It pains me to hear. Good country
And also,
folk yourself.
And as he says that, he says, I pray God delivers us. And he kind of touches a crucifix that he wears.
It pains me to hear good country folk like yourself have been having difficulties. Pray tell what occurred here. I like to help.
There is a monster stalking the people of this town.
Oh dear. A monster?
It comes in the night and it devours them.
That is horrible. It is not something I'm entirely unfamiliar with. There have been reports of monstrous activity up and down the coast for many moons now, and it's
And this is
devastating.
useless. Everything is useless. And he's gesturing to all of his spearheads, all of the blades he makes, the daggers, all of the things. And you look around now and you see, actually, it's not a lot of smithing has gone on. He's fallen into this despair because nothing can kill the beast. Men have tried, and we find their broken bodies or nothing at all.
Has anybody seen this beast?
None living.
Then how do you know it is a beast?
We hear terrible, terrible screams. You must think we are cowards.
Not at all. I see the impressive make and quantity of weapons you have here. No coward could surround themselves with the weapons of war and speak so knowledgeable on the use of them and be a coward.
Those are good words, and he, it cheers him a little. And also, by the way, you're going to need a blacksmith. You need nails.
Yeah.
you actually actively need Bo to help you out, to get your boat fully seaworthy again.
Yeah, we will. Who has come closest to this beast and lived?
Perhaps you should talk to Forfan, our Lord first. And he, there's this kind of moment where you've just arrived, and he's being very forthcoming and then kind of collecting himself, like, why am I even saying this? So you may wish to try to, you're speaking very well. I'd be happy to let you, just on the basis of the way you've role-played so far, roll a persuade, or you could load in some extra approach, presuming you don't.
Presuming I'm allowed to?
You're permitted. Fantastic.
Yeah,
the beast is among you.
She's the reason I had to pick her up is she's been chewing all the cables on my desk because she's in that mood.
Fantastic.
Just gonna pop you on the ground now, and you're going to jump right back up, aren't you?
All right. In your brief span of time, make a persuade roll. Your difficulty is 13. Are you aligned with the church?
No.
Then you don't get advantage on this.
No, I am quite definitely not aligned with the church at all. And that's going to be a fail. It's going to be like an 8.
All right.
I understand. I'm a stranger from strange lands. I do, however, have need of a blacksmith. And she kind of taps her coin purse that jingles quite nicely.
You would be better to leave. You would just be better to go. There is only death here.
I would very much like to leave. I have places to go and things to do. However, my ship is a little bit worse for wear after my travels, and I do have need of a blacksmith. So though I may be a stranger in these lands, I would appreciate your clearly very accomplished skills in assisting with making some joins and nails and other metal workings.
Of course. Yes, I will talk to the crew. Are any of your followers aligned with the church? Any Christians on board?
I think I am not aware of that. I don't think that is on any of their things, and I don't think they are.
All right.
I feel like Gita might be. I feel like that's something that would be Gita or Mida might be, but I don't think it's on any of their sheets.
Well, they because their followers built for first level,
definitely not.
And you're actually fourth level. You could give them some more gifts. So if you want to say it's your damn story, Alex.
Yeah.
If you want to say Gita is a Christian, which would be all that guilt she's carrying around, then so be it.
I would just explain so much about her.
All right. So she's a follower of the church.
Yes.
So write that on her follower sheet or spirit on the computer. PDFs these days.
I know.
But we remember it. So Gita is trusting redemption and forgiveness from God. So
good luck with that.
Bo, his hope gets the better of him. His prayers give him faith, and he opens up to you, and then he realizes you will die, and then he'll feel guilty about that, and he just closes up. But the strangest thing happened is he gets down to the boat with a bucket of nails, expecting to charge quite an exorbitant price, and he sees Gita. And Gita is praying there and then, thanking God for delivering. Gita doesn't like to pray when you are around because,
she knows, and it's just awkward.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
So that's going to give you actually advantage on your roll. So you're going to get a retrospective persuasion roll. Yay. Because I'm feeling nice. It won't last.
That's also not very good. I think I'm going to retire that dice. It's going to be like a 9. Not very good.
All right. That's okay. Bo.
You go to dice jail.
Now he feels even worse. So didn't make an impression on him, but gave him a moment of hope. All right. You are moving on then, heading on up the beach and through the buildings. You could just make a perception check for me.
That's better. Where are you? There we go. 24. I'm good at those.
Fantastic. So you will. You're turning from Bo. You see that he is going back down towards your ship, and you will note also there's actually a shipbuilder along the shore there, and his house is not one of those yet burnt. There's a very lanky guy has come out the front of that, and he's just kind of scratching his head and looking with interest at your Finnish Nor. The Thule that you've turned up in. So there's a shipbuilder here. You've not been introduced. He's down there. And also as you're scanning about, and we're looking up towards the, I always have to think of my damn compass. Northwest, or I could think about where Broome is, up in the northwest. The furthest building also is in good shape. And that is there's a woman come out of there, and she's mending fishing nets. You will see some other people are just starting to emerge with interest as to what's going on in town here with the arrival of this boat. So you may continue onto the hall. I didn't mean to distract you. Or you may wish to talk to the shipbuilder or the fisherwoman. What would you like to do?
I think I will... Actually, I'll approach the shipbuilder first, because while I'm doing other things here, at least my boat can be fixed.
and that's
get the practical things out of the way first, and then we deal with omens and monsters and unkillable things.
All right. So he is very lanky, and he sees you kind of sweep down, and he's a young man, and he doesn't look as beaten down as Beau is, and as of course Beau passes him with the bucket of pail of nails, he yells, "Morning, Beau, we live again." And Beau says, "Oh, fuck off, Scard." So Scard is his name. I've got to get the names in now before Jackson gets the art up. But there you are. You can see he's a bit of a more optimistic type. All right. Morning and well met.
Morning. You are of a sunny disposition for a young man in a village that seems to be half burnt to the ground.
Well,
I did just meet Beau.
I've been waiting for you.
I see.
And here you are. I've always said that people think that heroes cannot save us. And here is a captain with a fine crew, come from nowhere without invitation. I can see that you've done deeds. It is clear to me. What deeds have you done?
Deeds. Well, we don't like to brag, but we have sent the dead back to the depths once they rose. We have eased the pain of a monstrous creature who has done and had monstrous things done to her. You
are the balm for our woes. Arn left us. He is gone now. We miss him. Arn, such a hero, and the Thorfinn's son, dead these 2 years. Arn would have stopped these travails. But
yes, the travails, yes.
I have been working upon a carved figurehead, and I think yours is the boat it needs. And he produces this figurehead, and it is of you can describe it, Alex. You saw it in a fucking omen. What does your figurehead look like? Yes,
I did see it in an omen.
You did.
The figurehead is very strangely, and this makes Blaedswith grin from ear to ear as he pulls it out of his bag. For it is a leaping orca. And you can see the sea foam and the waves have been beautifully added to the base of it, and it does look like it would fit the ship quite perfectly, actually.
It is uncanny, but more than that, it's beautiful. She is beautiful. He is an extraordinary carver. He's clearly one of those teenagers that said, "No, I'm not going to kind of go out and have a riotous life. I'm going to learn to carve." And he's dedicated himself to this tremendous craft. And then eventually hit full adolescence and has been on the terps. But it's absolutely beautiful. You're really really taken by it.
I think you might be right, Scard. There may be higher powers at work here, indeed. But these troubles you're experiencing, I did speak to Beau about them, but he is clearly a man who feels suffering deeply and close. What can you tell me about the goings-on, the monster?
Wow, we're going to talk about that, are we?
Well, you did say that the town needed a bit of help.
I have been waiting for you because I saw the killer whale upon she sounded in the bay, and I remembered that moment. And it was the day after Arn died. And I have been working on this piece ever since. Do you think that such a thing could be? Do you have any followers who are learned in the old ways?
Yes. It is.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, you say.
Simo is learned in the old ways.
Then out of nowhere, they just like
The
roll
damn.
up.
Well, it's him
roll up.
catching up. He's finally caught up and is
Yeah.
like drenched to the skin and is finally caught up with the rest of the group.
Woven woe, mended talisman. Oh, this is the hero you seek. Clearly she is.
Thanks, Simo.
And with his outrageous appearance out of nowhere and smelling a fish, Scard is impressed by that. So you've got advantage now because you have a follower who is learned in the old ways. So he said, we're gonna get into this now. And you make an insight check with advantage and wisdom.
There you are. Ooh, that's a natty 20.
Right,
so
now
that would be 25.
Now, you had you not already had an inspiration kind of up your sleeve, you should have specified which was your old ways dice and your normal, but you don't need to because you're carrying.
Because that was advantage anyway. Yeah.
So you sense that he kind of wants to get down to it, but he's also starting to glance up towards the hall, like he's remembering his place as a young man of the community, and also he's a bit sober. You know, it's like.
I'll follow kind of the line of his gaze and
and like Simo says,
now in
thirsty
the
work telling tales.
Beneath the harsh gaze of the morning sun, it's very gloomy because the mist is still hanging around. But hey, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. And beneath the harsh gaze of the morning sun, absolutely not. I wouldn't hear of it. Come, let's go to the meat hall. I must meet the lord of this place, and then tales can be shared.
I might see your woman about the figurehead, and
yes,
well, there'll be time for stories later. All right, and the fisherwoman who's mending her net kind of looks at you and spits into the water.
I give her a great big beaming grin, and
she's just
hail, good morning.
She looks back at you. Many people have died here.
People die everywhere.
We are beset. The
Morning
morning is not good. Dickhead!
Well, she doesn't get saved.
She very straight talker. And as you kind of step away, you know there is harsh truth in what she says. You've talked to this kind of idealistic young man, but her name is Ursa. We have some art of her, but she is a short woman with kind of calloused kind of hands and muscled arms, and she looks very practical, but she's certainly dismissive of you. She actively dislikes you for reasons you don't understand because you just got here.
Yeah. Also doesn't particularly care. She's like, okay, you spit when you see me and you swear at strangers. Goodbye.
All right.
Okay.
So,
enjoy your life.
Well, she feels vindicated in her dismissal of you. And you turn your back upon her. And now you're having seen to the ship, and Gita is talking to Bo and Scard, and there's a bit of tension there that don't like each other too much.
Scard and Bo.
Yeah. And just you can make an insight roll there. Just make another insight, just as a wisdom check there.
It's not great. 11.
It's enough to know from what you've seen so far is Scard's optimism versus Bo's fatalism, and And also there's something heavy in Beau. There's something heavy hanging upon him. So that you can see now that they are under great pressure. They're not at their best, but they're not banding together because they don't have a hero to step behind. All right. You are going forwards. You made that charisma roll to make an impressive arrival, and that caught Beau's eye and certainly impressed Scard. So you have a friend here. But it also means that other people have seen you and word has got around. And so now coming out of the hall with two warriors is a middle-aged, barrel-chested man with kind of long blonde hair and a beard shot through with grey, and that could only be Forfin. He's got a rich fur cloak, and fine leather boots. And he's got an engraved sea axe hanging upon his belt, very polished. And you look at that and you go, don't know if it's ever been used.
Maybe he's got a ceremonial weapon and a for realsies weapon, but reserving judgment.
He comes out of his hall, and he's kind of bent. He's kind of stooped, and then kind of picks himself up to peer at you, and then almost kind of squares himself as though he's trying to shake off this malaise. And a bit of a look up and down. The fog is rising. The sun is up. And then he doesn't come to you. He waits.
Of course. He is the lord of this town. I will absolutely continue walking up the path towards the mead hall towards him and raise a hand in greeting. I am Blaedswith. I come from afar with my crew and my friends. We struck some trouble at sea and would appreciate a brief sanctuary to repair our ship.
He reaches back into the hall, and a hand comes out with a beer, which he takes a drink of. I think for a moment there, I was going to hand me a beer. Nope.
No.
You have arrived at a good time then.
I have.
You would do well to repair swiftly and be gone.
Yes, I have heard from some of your residents that...
What have you heard? Who's talked? What have they said?
I merely inquired about the...
Why are you so interested?
Because if I'm going to have my boat repaired here, I wanted to make sure that this was a village with people in it who were able to do such a thing. And the buildings by the seaside are not in the best shape. I merely inquired as to...
I'm sorry.
The capabilities of this village. That is quite all right. It's clear that there is a trauma here.
I am not being a host. And
it's clear that this
we've
village
just heard somebody else died last night.
You have my condolences.
Sigrid was a good woman. So you have consoled him, and he's been very rude to you, but you've smoothed your way through it, and he will invite you into the hall. All right, and so into the hall, which is it's a cold hall. It doesn't. It's the largest longhouse, and those two warriors that came out with him, they stay on guard. The doors are finely decorated. Inside, there's lots of old shields and weapons, and fishing nets. But everything seems to be from ages past, and that your eye is certainly caught by two bright tapestries, and they are, or weavings, and they are hung to either side of his chair, and they have been done in more recent times, and so the colours are those, and they flutter a little, and mostly they flutter because of your fate. Woven woe.
Weavings. Interesting.
Yeah. And one of them shows a warrior. He's standing in front of a cave, and he's holding up a large green head and brandishing a sword, which drips with, well, red thread really, but it's dripping with blood. And the other shows him in mighty battle in what seems to be near a church of some kind, and he is, in the approved 2D style of the Bayeux tapestry, stabbing down upon many raiders who are trying to breach the walls of this holy place. And you can see the figure is the same from the armor. Set between there is his high chair with the carvings, which he's now walking. His steps heavy and he slumps into it. You can see that there is two clasps upon the wall hooks, cat butt, where a weapon is not.
Right. All very interesting. Blaedswith will take a moment to take in the tapestry and appreciate its artistry and the story it tells, and incline her head towards our Lord, and tell him that this hall has clearly seen many stories and acts of heroism.
It did. But those times have gone.
Who is this hero?
That is my son.
I see. He looks to be a mighty warrior.
He was.
Once again, you have my condolences. All warriors are called home eventually. And I am so sorry to hear that it was before his time.
Murdered by brigands. The hero's road is a foolish one, and it's ended in his death. And now when we need him most.
When you need him most? Clearly this village has been through some trauma recently. The damaged buildings, the burning. What has been happening here?
All right, you are broaching the question. He's looking at you and he's measuring you up.
Big sword, clearly
big
used.
Sword. But he is a chieftain. He's a jarl. We're in Norway. He's a fucking jarl.
Yeah.
He's probably played by Gabriel Byrne. I can't do a Gabriel Byrne accent, but there you go. That's not Gabriel Byrne. No, who's that?
No.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Are you a noble? Do you have noble blood?
No.
Are you a chosen one? Have you been chosen?
Yes, I have.
What?
And I am
Who chose
chosen.
you, Blaedswith, and why?
The portents chose me. The wind, the sky, the 4 points in the compass chose me.
Then he sees that. And that must be a moment where the rays of light that you brought, the fog lifting as you went wah and stepped onto the beach. That's that moment as you've swept into the hall. And the first thing you did was pay respect to this hero. You've paid respect to his son without even knowing that. And that has impressed him. So you could make difficulties 15. You can choose either wisdom, insight, or charisma, persuasion. And you're going to get advantage because you're chosen.
Chosen.
Are you an exile?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Not an
he
exile.
hates an exile. He hates an outcast.
Good thing I left Geeta on the boat. Can you guys not fight while I'm on stream, please? No. Thanks.
it's times are tense. Clearly, Scott and Bo are punching on down on the beach.
That'll be great.
Things have got a bit heated.
There's no room for both of them on the desk anyway, least of all when they're throwing punches at each other. Okay. So what were the rolls again? Persuasion or...
Your choice. You can
What
do
was the
this
second
with...
one?
You can either choose insight or you can choose persuasion. Take
Insight.
your own choice. All right. And give yourself advantage. So grab 2 dice and let's hope the dice
this
which have
guy-
deserted you thus far. Is that your old ways dice?
This is my old ways dice.
All right.
I'm going to roll that one second. Oh gosh, it went off the table. Okay, well the first one was a natural one, so goodbye to that one. But my old ways dice was a 14 plus 5 is 19.
Of course it is. Christian dice, 1. Get out of here.
Back to dice jail.
But you have stood proudly, paid respect, and not bowed down to the doom. And he looks at you. Now, what was your total after all that?
19.
19. Okay, coolsies. He looks at you, and any of your followers have a gift related to charisma? Simo, has he got any? So have they got any charisma?
Actually, I think Mida might. Possibly. No intelligence checks and saving throws. Prophetic, nope. Learned, rescue, nope. Nope.
Okay, would you like to...
They're mostly fighty.
It is because you're a 4th level hero. You've actually got 3 gifts to spread among your followers.
And I have spread.
So if you want to say that
already.
Mida has a charisma-based gift, I'm happy to.
I feel like that works for Mida because
great.
she is prophetic. She is a scribe. I feel like Mida's the one who steps in and tells the story better than anybody else could.
So the way followers work when you level up is you can give them a temporary gift, or you can make one of their burdens temporary. And then next level, a temporary gift will fade, or you can make it permanent. So
Nice.
as you become a mighty hero, so do to your followers. The nature of Mida's charisma-based gift, we'll look it up between sessions. But she steps forward and says, I will record this fairly and well, and looks all official and shit. And
she's got a pen, like a quill and her parchment.
so what's happening behind the scenes with the way this scenario is written is that NPCs have a key moment where you're getting them on side the hero. Are they going to be an obstacle or an ally? And you've got a success with Forfin, but because you have a follower with a gift related to charisma, that's actually going to raise your success by 1 level to success by 5 or more. What it means, though, is Mida, having promised to write this down, you're going to activate her, which means she's going to become spent, which is just to say she's now going to be sitting on her ass all day, writing it out like she promised. So she's going to drop out of your saga until you've had a long rest. Okay, so are you happy to activate her for that?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it makes sense, especially with the talk about his son and going to reassure him that his son's name will live on.
Are you sure, Blaedswith, you want me to sit in this hall with my quill and not help you find the monster? Are you sure?
And I'm going to just give her a big smile. Are you sure you would be out there with your spear and our swords and risking limb and life? Or would you rather be here with a cup of mulled wine and enough paper to see you through to tomorrow?
Mulled wine. So all right.
That's
So she's been activated. She's going to stay in this hall. She's going to write down the account. So
Blaedswith is a little bit protective of Mida, who is not particularly.
Sees you, and in that moment, perhaps he believes that heroes are not dead, as his son is.
And I think Mida and Blaedswith probably have a bit of a back and forth, like a bit of a joking back and forth, and it's that camaraderie that reminds him that maybe his son had some good times like that.
As you have that joking back and forth, you look at him to see, like, his eyes are red. Can he cry anymore? He all his tears were cried out long ago, but now one is starting. As he says, I remember love. I remember the times in this hall. I remember how Arn so delighted us, and how he became a hero, and how we were so proud. And he was murdered by brigands. And the loss of our golden boy was more than my wife could bear. And you're not seeing her around, so that's not good. And I will tell you this, because of his murder, I believe that he has become a Draug, and it is his restless spirit that haunts us.
Do I know anything about Draug?
That is a pronunciation of death. This is a monster which has come from beyond death.
Right.
This is death itself. And with that bombshell from Forfan, and because we've been playing for an hour,
Oh my gosh,
that's
we have
the end of
been.
episode 2.
Has that really been an hour?
Yep.
My God.
10:00 in Australia.
Yes, in Australia. Well, that was marvelous.
Let us just finish with, as that terrible fact is dropped like an unwelcome fart in this hall, what is Blaedswith's reaction? The audience wants to see how she takes this terrible news.
Extremely calmly. She has been intently listening to the Jarl, paying him as much respect and attention as she possibly can. So there is not even a twitch on her face. She's just very seriously listening to him, taking him exceedingly seriously. But those amongst her crew and her followers who know her best do see her left hand just twitch slightly, and knowing that is her sword hand, they understand that whoever this monster might be, whether it is indeed the Jarl's son, if that's the case, then his soul shall be put to rest as it deserves, or if it is something else entirely, this village has suffered enough, and Blaedswith will venture forth with vengeance in her heart.
As it should be. The hall is silent. All you can hear is a quill dropping as Maida goes, fucking Draug, Jesus. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Classic
Thank you,
Maida.
Jackson.
And what an hour it was, I was going to say. Sorry, I came in a bit early with my cue there, but that's all right. Wow. What an hour of BEOWULF Age of Heroes here on the Campaign Coins Twitch and YouTube channel. You can catch up on previous episodes and a previous campaign of BEOWULF Age of Heroes at youtube.com/campaigncoins. What else have I got to spruik? There's BEOWULF Age of Heroes. There's The Hermit Sanctuary, which is a free introductory download as well from Handiwork Games. Handiwork Games, who have made this incredible rule set and setting for 5e for one GM and one player. There they are. We've been listening to the sounds of Sirenscape, an online tool to add music and soundtracks to your tabletop games, and we've also been hearing selections from the official BEOWULF Age of Heroes soundtrack, which is pretty cool as well. We are Campaign Coins. We make metal tokens for BEOWULF. You can have a look at our offerings at campaigncoins.com/BEOWULF. And that is all of the BEOWULF. I'm BEOWULFed out now.
How many times can you say Beowulf in one sentence?
BEOWULF. We'll be back at the same time next week. Our ongoing BEOWULF stream is, of course, just 1 hour long because life is busy and we try to fit in role-playing games when we can. So we'll be back at the same time next week. But before then, there's another sneaky game coming up on the Campaign Coins channel. We'll be playing 13th Age, which is a terrific high fantasy D20 game of all sorts of super powered fantasy nonsense. It's a D20 game just like your favorites, and it should be a good time. We'll be playing subtract 4 hours from the time right now, and go to Friday. That's when we're playing 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But if you follow us here at the Campaign Coins Twitch channel, and maybe subscribe to us on YouTube, and maybe look us up on Twitter, you're going to have an easy time keeping up to date with everything we're doing. That's
and
all from us.
13th Age, like it's all-star. It's Gareth Ryder Hanrahan, one of the finest writers, his scenario, and some bloke named Jackson, who's okay, I guess, as the game master. He's actually superb. And awesome players. You've got Art back in the house.
Yeah.
You've got David and Jamie from the Stream of Chaos, the Chaosium stream, and Daniel, Man of Mystery. So rocking good time. Do not miss these people as they how many dwarves? Too many dwarves.
Too many dwarves. We're playing Assault on the Dungeon of the Pogonomancer by Gareth Ryder Hanrahan. A Pogonomancer, of course, being a master of beard magic from the Greek pogono, meaning beard. It's an insane dwarf wizard out for revenge against his old clan.
Is that why you've been growing that thing?
That
for
must
this
be
moment.
it. Yeah. There you go. Just for this moment. Actually, I was going to...
That's a long game.
I was going to take it off this week, but now I can't.
Can't get rid of it now.
Wow, what good timing.
You have to grow it long enough to breed it.
Yes, indeed. So tune in on Friday night for us. Might be Friday morning for you, Friday afternoon, or late on Saturday. Late on Thursday, rather. Time zones, they're hard. And we'll see you then. Thanks, one and all. See you again.
Rock on.